Welcome, everyone, to the Language Link Up. I'm Mia, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co host, Leo. How are you doing today, Leo?
I'm fantastic, Mia. Feeling refreshed and ready to dive into some great English learning with our listeners. And speaking of diving in, we have a very special guest with us today, an absolute expert in practical English communication, Sarah Jenkins. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, Leo, Mia. It's great to be here. I'm excited to chat about a topic that literally everybody can relate to. Absolutely. And that brings us perfectly to our theme for today's episode, talking about your morning in English. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But Sarah, why is this seemingly basic topic so incredibly valuable for English learners? That's a fantastic question, Mia. It's valuable precisely because it's so basic and universal. Every single person, regardless of where they live or what they do, has some kind of morning routine. This means you already have the core context. You're not trying to learn about quantum physics. You're talking about something you do every day.
Right, and it's packed with high-frequency vocabulary, isn't it? We're talking about verbs like wake up, get up, brush, eat, drink, get dressed. These are the building blocks of everyday conversation.
Exactly, Leo. And grammatically, it's a goldmine for practicing the simple present tense. I wake up at 7 a.m., she drinks coffee, they usually take the bus. It's all about habitual actions, which is the simple present tense in action. Mastering this helps lay a strong foundation for more complex grammar later on. So it's not just about learning words, but seeing how they fit into sentences to describe real-life actions. It builds confidence because learners can immediately apply what they're learning to their own lives.
Precisely. And for listening practice, it's perfect. You're hearing natural conversational English about a common topic, which makes it easier to follow and grasp the meaning, even if you don't catch every single word. Plus, it's a great warm-up for your English brain, sort of like stretching before a run.
I love that analogy, Leo. A language warm-up. So, to give our listeners a real-world example, how about we each share a little bit about our own morning routines? Sarah, why don't you kick us off? All right, I'd be happy to. My morning usually starts pretty early. I'm an early bird, so I wake up around 6 a.m. even on weekends. The first thing I do is a quick 5-minute meditation. Then I get out of bed, stretch a bit, and head to the kitchen to make myself a strong cup of black coffee. While the coffee brews, I quickly check my phone for urgent messages, but I try not to get sucked into emails right away. After that, I usually have some yogurt with fruit for breakfast, brush my teeth, get dressed, and then I'm ready to tackle the day. It's a pretty consistent routine for me.
Wow, 6 a.m. meditation. That's impressive, Sarah. I'm definitely more of a snooze button enthusiast myself. My morning often feels like a race against the clock. I usually wake up around 7:30, sometimes 7:45 if I'm feeling particularly rebellious. I try to get out of bed immediately after the second alarm. Then it's a quick shower. I brush my teeth, throw on whatever clothes are reasonably clean, and then rush to make a quick breakfast, usually just toast or cereal. I grab my coffee on the way out the door, and then I'm off to work. My goal is usually just to be on time.
Leo, your morning sounds like a whirlwind. Mine is somewhere in between yours and Sarah's, I think. I typically wake up around 7 a.m. I need a little bit of quiet time before I jump into anything. So I usually just lie in bed for a few minutes, maybe scroll through a news app. Then I get up, make my bed. I feel like that just sets the tone for a productive day. And then I head straight for the coffee machine. After that, I actually do a short workout, just 20 minutes or so. Then it's a shower, get dressed, and I'll usually have eggs or oatmeal for breakfast. I like to sit down and actually enjoy my breakfast with a book for about 15 minutes before I start my work. See how different all our mornings are, but how easily we can describe them using common English phrases? Listeners, I hope you noticed the simple present tense Mia, Leo, and I used consistently. Things like I wake up, I usually do, I head to. These are your anchors. And it brings up a good point, Sarah. The distinction between wake up and get up. I used both in my description. Waking up is when your eyes open. You become conscious. Getting up is physically leaving your bed. They're related, but distinct. Exactly, Mia. And adding adverbs of frequency, like usually, always, sometimes, often, rarely, can really enrich your description. Mia said, I usually lie in bed. I said, I usually have yogurt. These words tell us how often you do something without making it sound repetitive.
And don't forget prepositions of time. At 7 a.m., in the morning, on weekdays. These are small words, but crucial for clarity.
So, for our listeners who are practicing, what are some concrete tips they can use right now to improve their English by talking about their mornings? My biggest tip is just start speaking. Don't worry about perfection. Describe your own morning aloud, even if it's just to yourself in the shower or while you're making coffee. Start with simple sentences. I wake up. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. Then add more detail. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. I then brush my teeth for 2 minutes. I usually eat breakfast with my family. Build it up gradually.
That's excellent advice. And record yourself. Use your phone's voice recorder. Listen back. Where did you hesitate? Were there words you struggled with? It's a fantastic way to identify your weak spots and track your progress.
Also, don't be afraid to write it down first. If speaking feels too daunting, jot down bullet points or a full paragraph describing your morning. This helps organize your thoughts and identify vocabulary gaps. And if you're not sure about a word, look it up.
What if someone's morning is, well, a bit boring? They might think, what's there to talk about?
That's a common concern, but boring is subjective. Even a boring morning has details. Do you always hit snooze? Describe that. How do you feel when you wake up? Groggy? Energetic? Do you make coffee or tea? How do you make it? Do you look out the window? What do you see? Add sensory details and feelings. It makes any routine interesting. And pronunciation. Any quick tips for morning-related words that sometimes trip people up? Like clothes or breakfast? Ah, yes. Clothes often gets mispronounced. It's really just one syllable, almost like clothes with a soft teach sound at the end. Not clothes. And breakfast. Remember, it's 2 syllables. Break, fast. But the A in fast is a short sound, not a long ah. Practice those slowly and repeatedly. Fantastic tips, Sarah. This has been such an insightful discussion. To sum things up for our listeners, what would you say is the most important takeaway from today's episode? I'd say the biggest takeaway is that your morning routine is a gift for your English learning journey. It's a ready-made script you can practice every single day. Use it to reinforce your simple present tense, expand your vocabulary, and build confidence in describing your daily life.
Absolutely. It's all about consistency, isn't it? Just like you consistently have a morning routine, consistently practice describing it. Start small, add details, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every attempt is progress.
Exactly. And remember that active listening is key too. Listen to how others describe their mornings. Pick up new phrases and try to incorporate them into your own descriptions. So right after this podcast, take a moment, close your eyes, picture your morning, and try to describe it aloud in English. You'll be surprised how much you can say.
What a perfect challenge for our listeners. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure, Leo, Mia. Keep practicing, everyone. And thank you, our incredible listeners, for tuning in to the Language Link Up. We hope this episode has given you some great tools and motivation to talk about your morning in English. We'll catch you next time.